Shadow and I are filming today from one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth, in my opinion. A little canyon not far from where I live called Snow Canyon. It's just spectacular, and the canyon walls provide a lot of protection from the light pollution, or shield us from the light pollution. And we're going to do some astrophotography tonight. I think you're going to enjoy it. For now though, I think we're going to climb that the big red rock behind us. Shadow has his coyote vest on because there are coyotes here and bobcats and other predators. Hopefully we don't encounter one, but there are cougars. Well, here we are on top of the world. So those canyon walls right there, and it's a little windy, I hope you can hear me. On the other side is the city of St. George. Right here at this little picnic spot is where I set up to do astrophotography. And the object I'm going to go after is the Iris Nebula. And the Iris Nebula is in the northern hemisphere, so the Polaris is approximately right out there, and it's always around Polaris, so it's an easy one to grab early into the evening, as early as possible. Start filming, be done, load it up and back home by midnight. So that's the goal. The other thing I want to do is show you a few little tricks of the trade. For those of you that are interested in astrophotography. And so before I can do that though, I got to set up. This is heavy. This is heavy too. So what are we using here? I've got the Orion 190mm Maksutov-Newtonian Telescope. Phenomenal telescope. I have here a Orion G26 camera that is a CMOS camera, full color camera. I am guiding also with an Orion Ultra Mini scope, and I can't remember the name of this little guide camera. It in turn is connected to the mount. So when we get the mount polar aligned, and that's what this little baby here is for, it's also an Orion P1. It is another camera. There's a camera here, a camera here, and a camera here. This one helps me polar align. This one helps me guide. This one captures the image. Okay, then my mount here is an Atlast EQ-G, very good heavy-duty mount with very fine precision tracking capabilities. So I can photograph with just this. I don't actually have to have the guide scope, but if I want longer duration images, the guide scope sends fine-tuning signals to the mount to yet keep it on target even that much better, so I can take longer images. So what do we do now? Let's see. First of all, what time is it? 7:02. It's going to be a couple of hours actually before it's dark. So I wanted to get set up before the light ran out though, so I got up here a little earlier than normal. So now we probably do the most important thing of the night. We eat nibs. You know, this is a critical part of astrophotography. You have to have your nibs. Don't be Shadow. We have to have our nibs. And your Mountain Dew. I'm going to do is polar align. I use the Orion P1 for polar alignment. Polar alignment is far more important than leveling the tripod and the mount. If you get a good polar alignment, after that then you star align, you're good to go, even if you're not completely level. Trust me on this one, I've experimented a lot. So polar alignment, that's really the most important thing to get right. After that, everything goes really smooth. So we're going to do that now. I'm very well polar aligned, and now I can move right to star alignment. So, okay, for star alignment now, I take the SynScan controller, and I'm going to do what it gives you options. I'm going to do the 3-star alignment so that I'm going to be good and accurate. So the first star it picked for me automatically, and being that I'm polar aligned, it will slew to it, and hopefully it lands really close to it. The first one it picked is Arcturus, so I got to turn the light off so I can do this. Okay, that great big star in the middle of the screen is Arcturus. I'm not finely focused yet, but I have centered the first star, so let's go to the second one. Let's see how we do with Vega. Hopefully we land. There it is. So my polar alignment in the beginning is paid off already. Very minor adjustments on the star alignment. One more thing I wanted to show you is focusing. So I use the Maksutov mask, and I can see I've got just a little more fine tuning to get the center spike dead center. Well, maybe I had a little bit of luck, but I only turned the knob once, just a little bit, and it seemed to have landed. To me, as I look at it, that looks pretty darn good, so I'm going to go with that. Okay, now I'm going to slew to the Iris Nebula. Okay, that is the Iris Nebula, smack dab in the middle. I should point out, by the way, that I'm using SharpCap Pro, a phenomenal program. Okay, we've started LIVESTACK, and here's the trick that I wanted to show you. I'm on the FWHM filter, full width half measure. I've got 3 images now, 3 frames, and I can see that 4.09, 4.13, 4.25, they're all very close. So that's about what I'm running. If anything jars the scope, it will cause that number to spike. So by selecting the use of that filter and setting it just maybe at like 4.42. Anything above that, it will not stack. SharpCap will reject it. So I can start live stacking and only keep the good quality images. Similarly, I'm going to flip over to the brightness, and that's set on auto. I will start using the brightness filter. So if a cloud comes along and affects the brightness, those images will be rejected. Okay, so now that I have this set, and look, everything is going really well. I've got 9 images stacked. They're all good quality, both by way of the FWHM filter and the brightness filter. Now I can go to the histogram. And here, I like to zoom, by the way. I click zoom, and I go ahead and do the auto stretch and auto color balance from the histogram peak. And I can just move this a little bit over to center it. That's the black level. And the mid-level is tighten it up a little bit. And then I can come over to the histogram on the right, which is the visual histogram, and I can begin to do the same thing. Move the black level inwards and the mid-level over. Kind of tighten up that data. And let's see what we have now. Okay, we have an image that is starting to build. That is the Iris Nebula. So I want you to see this. Do you see the red bars there? Those are all frames that exceeded the FWHM filter tolerance, and they got rejected. And the reason that they exceeded it is the wind picked up just a hair, and it will move that scope. So by using this filter during LIVESTACK, I'm able to take this image at the conclusion of the imaging session, and I can take it right into Photoshop if I want. So that's what I want. I want it to reject the less desirable ones so that I can use the stacked image right from LIVESTACK. Okay, let's let the rig just do its thing. Shadow plays an important part when I'm out on my adventures in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the night, when I'm staring into that telescope or into the computer screen, or I'm messing around with the rig. Anything could creep up on me and I wouldn't know it. But not with Shadow scouting around the perimeter. He lets me know of anything and everything that comes anywhere near us, which I really appreciate. So he keeps me safe. I've got him safe with this spiked up coyote vest, because there are predators out here, and his tracker. I don't want to ever lose him. So if anything ever was messing around with him, I'd come to his rescue, and he would do the same for me. And he's smelling something right now. What do you smell? Something's out there. Like I said, keeps me safe. Okay, it's 11:08. I have 57 minutes of data, and look, the wind just kicked back up. So we're gonna shut her down, load her up, head home. I will be home by midnight. It's 11:27, we're loaded up. Dismantling the rig always goes a lot faster than assembling it. Shadow, you're ready to go home, aren't you, buddy? All right, I will be home. I'll even have the stuff in the garage by midnight. Let's get at it. Check this out. Midnight, I'm in bed. And I unloaded the truck, and I even brushed my teeth.